The Colorado Buffaloes are coming off a huge loss against Utah, but Week 10 brings a chance to make a statement and turn the season around.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. We're also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcast. So make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss out on a moment of the coverage. I'm Kevin Borba, the host of the show. We're going to be talking about Colorado. They have a chance to make a statement. Obviously, things didn't go as they planned last week against Utah, but they need to forget that, right? You have a chance to make a bowl game. You have a chance to make a little bit of a run here at the end of the year, and I think they could do just that. We're going to be talking about the injuries, the key players, and why Jordan Seaton might be playing another position. We're not sure which one yet, but I do have a couple of ideas, if you will. And then I'm going to give you my prediction for the Week 10 game between Colorado and Arizona. But first, let's talk about why they can make a statement. So I think a lot of us were quite disappointed with what we saw last week against Utah, right? You came off a huge win over Iowa State, who was ranked at the time. You then had a bye week. And there was videos that surfaced from well-off media during practices where you had Chidozie Nwankwo calling the players lazy. You had Coach Prime calling out guys for quitting. And I think part of me, because I picked Colorado to win against Utah, so I was a little shocked at how flat they came out, especially when they had Bird Ficklin at quarterback, the true freshman. I think a part of me, when you think of the last week, it's like, how do you recover from that? And it's like, you just have to forget about it, right? Because there was so much that went wrong. Like, there's nothing really positive to take away from that game, but there's nothing we didn't learn about this Colorado team, right? They struggle against the run. They struggle against running quarterbacks, and Utah was probably the team to expose that, right? Noah Fifita is a good quarterback for Arizona, but not the most mobile guy. Like, he's mobile in the pocket. I would say he's more like Deion Sanders than he is Bird Ficklin, right? So I think that comes with the territory here is like, you're going to face a really talented quarterback, but it's not going to expose any weaknesses in terms of run defense. I mean, he's going to test the corners, which will be interesting because I think Colorado's corners haven't been as good as I thought they were. I predicted in the offseason that they'd probably be the best group in the Big 12, and I think they are allowing a lot more yards and giving up bigger plays, and they have more pass interference penalties than they did last year. So this Colorado team, make a statement, right? There's three things that really you could do with this game. One, you make a statement by winning the game and getting your season back on track, right? The Buffs are sitting at 3-5. And I mean, quite frankly, a bowl game is in reach, and a bowl game should be the goal. I know they don't want to just sort of like put all the pressure on this week, but I just feel like you have a chance to show your team like, hey, Arizona's favored, right? Because Arizona's coming into this game as favorites, even though it's in Boulder. Arizona's favored by 3.5 at the time of the recording. But you're sitting at 3-5. Arizona, they're sitting at 4-3. Neither team has really done well in Big 12 play. They're Arizona's 1-3 in Big 12 play. Colorado's 1-4. Right? Get your season back on track. Right? Get that feeling and confidence back in you again. Another way you make a statement and sort of flip the season around is you give yourself room for error down the stretch. Right? You win this game. Not only do you instill confidence and you turn your season around a little bit, but you go into your final 3 games needing to win 2. Whereas if you lose this one, you got to win 3 to make a bowl game, right? So I think there's a lot to be hopeful about this game. I think with a win, you are sort of assuring like, hey, we haven't given up on the season, right? I think that's another statement that this team needs to make. I think a lot of people have called them out for quitting, right? I mean, Deion Sanders is one of them. He said people have quit on the team. And there was a lot of questionable effort against Utah from certain players, and I don't know if we'll see all of those players again this week. But I think by winning this game, or at least showing some fight, but I do think they'll win this game. I'll talk about that later. I think you show that you're not quitting, right? Because there's been so much sort of questions about this team's mentality. Ray Lewis came to talk to the team early in the week, and he said that he basically said that Colorado is showing up but not playing together, right? And I think that's the hard part is you have all these guys and you want to believe in them, but it's like, okay, why is Pro Football Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis saying there's no camaraderie, there's no brotherhood, right? You're putting on the same uniform, quote, but you're walking out with different spirits. Like he's essentially saying, and I think he's getting this from someone on the staff, like, hey, this is our problem. Like we have guys who aren't bought in, or we have guys who are worried about themselves more than the team. Like I think you could sort of come together as a team here. And obviously it's week 10 and there's only 4 more weeks left in the season. So you don't want to be like, it's hard to hear like you're not coming together as a team 10 weeks into the season. That being said, I think there's an old saying in sports that winning cures all. And you end a losing streak, or well, I guess it's not really a losing streak, but you prevent a losing streak here. You sort of get your confidence back and you sort of show like, hey, we're still bought into this mission. We're still bought into this program. And I think Colorado needs a win in the sense like, I think a loss here would really deflate the team's confidence. And it would remind me of the first year under Deion Sanders when they lost 7 straight, although they are not going to lose 7 straight to end the year because it's mathematically impossible. It just felt like the team was so deflated at times that year where it was like as soon as something bad would happen, they would just sort of turn over. And I don't want this team to get to that position. I still feel like there's a little bit of fight left in them. And I think a win could sort of show like, hey, we're here to fight. We're here to win. We still think we could win. We still think we could go to a bowl game, win a bowl game. And we still are bought into what our coaches are saying. And I think we'll find out come tonight. But this Colorado team, like Arizona is a solid team, but this isn't certainly, they're not playing BYU, right? This isn't Georgia Tech. Those are both better teams that Colorado played closely. This is a Arizona team that is also struggling in Big 12 play. That is also looking for a statement win or sort of a confidence building win. So don't let them have it. They think you are their statement win. You make them your statement win. And I think Colorado could really go on a run here to end the season because I think their schedule, their last 4 games is looking semi-favorable. It's just a matter of can they stay locked in? Can they capitalize on the opportunities they have? We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to highlight some of the key injuries and talk about Jordan Seaton's potential new role. But first, a quick break. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Mazda. Let's talk Mazda. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward. I mean, when you lose as bad as Colorado did, there's not plenty of moments, but I'm going to go with Tafik Bayard just sort of being a nonstop hustle player, right? He is a core guy that Colorado's down 43 points. He's still giving it his all. And for that reason, I think he's the guy that keeps Colorado moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Hope all of you had a safe Halloween. Let's talk injuries. Colorado's injury report doesn't look as bad, but there are some notable ones. So let's run through them. For Arizona, they're only going to miss 2 guys, Marquise Groves-Kilbrew and Jordan Brown, the offensive lineman. First, Kilbrew's a defensive lineman, or defensive back, excuse me. For Colorado, you have Hakeem Williams out, which I think he's been out for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Makari Vickers at corner's out. Simeon Price is out, the running back. Xavier Hill, he leads the team in offensive snaps played. He's at, I think, over 500. I think it's 508. He has been pretty solid, really good next to Jordan Seaton. I think that has been a nice combination. I think without him, it's going to be interesting, especially when, Coach Prime said the cat's out of the bag. Teams know that if you blitz Colorado a lot, their offensive line struggles to communicate. They struggle to pick the blitz up. So whoever replaces him, which I think Yo-Yo is going to be the guy. He's really good when they use him as that sort of tight end or extra blocker role. So I think he's going to be a guy that they plug and play there. And then Walker Anderson, also out, hasn't played at all this year. This is where it gets a little scary if you're Colorado, right? Arizona's run game isn't necessarily electric by any means, right? Their leading rusher has 445 yards. And he hasn't really, you just sort of look at how much they've used him of late. He's had 6 carries, 7 carries. His best games, in the month of October, his best game has been 42 yards rushing, right? That's just not something that they do. He has 189 yards rushing against Kansas State and then 85 yards rushing against Iowa State, and they haven't cracked 55 the rest of the year with him. So Ishmael, Mahdi, Mahdi. Listen, I don't think Colorado's run defense is good by any means, but Arizona's rushing offense isn't that great. But when you're missing these next couple guys, it could get a little scary, is what I was trying to say. I apologize for the word soup there. Amari McNeil's out, Tafik Thomas is out, and then Christian Hudson, the freshman, is out, and then defensive end Alexander McPherson is out, the true freshman. I really like what I've seen from him thus far. Disappointing, right? He had the big punt block a few weeks ago, so that's going to be interesting. We're going to see who steps up, right? Is Jordan Seaton, because Coach Prime said earlier this week, Jordan Seaton is going to be taking on a new role. Now, during I think he was the Army All-American game. I think it was the one he played in. He played in the All-American game. Either way, they threw a pass to him. So I don't think Jordan Seaton's moving out to wide receiver or tight end. I also don't think they're going to move him into left guard unless they decide to go Seaton at left guard and then plug in Larry Johnson at left tackle or Andre Roy at left tackle. I don't know why they do that, but they could. But I do think a potential sleeper second position for Jordan Seaton might be defensive tackle. I think they just might be like, hey, you're one of our best athletes. You're one of our best players. Get in the trenches and let's see what happens. And so we'll see if Jordan Seaton actually takes on another role this week. I don't know if he could throw the ball. Maybe he could play quarterback too. Isaiah Harge, doubtful. He's been He's been out pretty much almost the whole year, it feels like. He hasn't really played. And then probable Deion Parks and R.J. Johnson. So you get R.J. Johnson, who's going to be making it almost feels like a season debut, but he played in week 3. So he's been out for a while. He suited up last week, didn't play. I think if you're Colorado, you really are pulling out all the stops here at defensive tackle. You got to look – I know they moved Quincy Wiggins in the interior, right? They have to get a little creative to make up for their injuries. And if you're Colorado, you really are hoping that, like, hey, not only do guys step up, but if Arizona tries to beat you through the air, you're hoping that Preston Hodge, DJ McKinney, RJ Johnson, Deion Parks, whoever's out there at corner, you're hoping they could step up, right? Make the lives of the defensive tackles a little bit easier. This also goes on the offense too. If you put yourselves in a position where the defense isn't having to sort of try to hold the lead or keep Arizona from scoring nonstop while the offense sputters, that makes life easier for the defense, right? Especially when you're shorthanded, right? So Colorado's injury bug continues to get them. I don't really know how deep they are at defensive tackle simply because we haven't seen a lot of guys. Like Jaheim Otis, it'd be nice if he stepped up, right? Brandon Davis Swain, like there's a lot of names out there. Will they step up? Quincy Wiggins, I think they were high on him earlier in the year, right? He wore the green dot during I think it was the spring game. But they haven't really necessarily gotten a ton of production from their defensive tackles. Now you lose Shane Cokes from a year ago. You lose a few guys, and Tavian Coleman, Gabriel Lightfoot, both were injured this year. Like depth has just been an issue at this position. And we'll see if Arizona tries to take advantage of it or if they try to beat Colorado through the air. But I think Colorado could win this game, and I'm going to predict why they win this game. But first, a quick break. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by DoorDash. It's the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on who delivered. Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Colorado, I'm going to go with Cam Michael. Apologies. He ran the ball hard against Utah. I think he was one of the few players showing fight. There wasn't a lot to be proud of, but I think you'd be proud of how hard he played. And when the pressure was on and the lights were shining bright and Utah was just beating the brakes off Colorado, he was playing hard. And I don't think that's a fluke. I think that's a young guy trying to earn his keep, trying to earn more playing time. And just like him, Michael delivered for the Buffs. DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Feel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. This episode of Locked On Buffs is also brought to you by the sponsors over at FanDuel. The NBA season's here. If you like some hoops, then FanDuel is the place for you. There's no better place to get in on the action with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score to next fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 win. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, so make sure to like, subscribe, follow. You don't want to miss out because I think there's going to be a lot of happenings in Boulder pretty soon, and we'll see if Coach Prime is making changes or not, or if the team turns it around and goes on a little run here, which I think they can. I think the last 4 games of Colorado's schedule looks a lot more manageable than it did before the year, right? Arizona's 1-3 in conference play. West Virginia, although West Virginia is looking good today, West Virginia is currently up 10 points on number 22 Houston. So look out for the Mountaineers. But Arizona State has Jeff Sims in. They're also looking not too shabby. But we've seen Jeff Sims, right? Colorado's seen Jeff Sims before. And then Kansas State. I think every one of these teams is frisky, hungry, can beat Colorado, but I think the same could be said about Colorado if they turn things around. So my prediction, Arizona's favored by 3.5. I think Colorado wins. I think home field advantage is the key factor here. Arizona's 1-6 on the road again under Coach Brent Brennan. They're 0-2 on the year on the road. They're riding a 2-game losing streak. They're coming off a bye, and I think this late in the season, coming off a bye week, it may or may not be helpful. I don't think it's helpful for most teams, honestly. It's like it gives you more time to think about what's been going wrong. But if your team's struggling, I mean, like Colorado has struggled at times this year, the bye week wasn't as impactful. And I don't know if there's like a science to it, but I don't know if the bye weeks are really going to help Arizona. If anything, they just got to sit on their losing streak for that much longer, right? They've just been sitting there waiting. And it's like, okay, we want to play, but like, are they going to come out antsy? Are they going to come out disciplined? Are they going to come out desperate? Arizona is inherently not a good team on the road. They've lost back, mind you, the back-to-back losses they had, heartbreakers, double overtime to BYU, and then 31-28 against Houston, right? So they are down in the dumps too. I think a lot of people are pointing this sort of, I guess, pity party at Colorado, being like, they lost big, the season's over. Like, Arizona's not in a confident place by any means either. And I think I trust Colorado's corners more than I trust their run defense. And I mean, Arizona wants to throw the ball, right? They're averaging 274 yards passing per game. It's just one of those things where it's like they want to air that thing out, right? That accounts for a chunk of their offense. They have a top 35, 40 offense in college football. And listen, if you're Colorado, if not now, then when, right? If you don't win this game in front of your home crowd with everyone cheering you on, I don't know if it's going to be a sellout crowd. I saw there was a lot of tickets left. But I think if you're Colorado, you show out in front of your home crowd. Home field advantage in Folsom it's one of the better ones in college football, I would say, at a stadium that's not holding 100,000 people. You just have to take advantage of this opportunity, right? It's going to be the winner of this game, which I think Colorado wins this game. The winner of this game is going to be the team that can lick their wounds or can get over licking their wounds and like sort of snap back to reality of like, hey, we could still achieve something this year. The loser of this game, I think their season spiral is out of control. So although there's not Big 12 championship stakes on the line, I know that you would like that to sort of be the case for Colorado, but that's just not where they're at. But that doesn't mean they're not playing for anything. They're playing for pride, playing for confidence. There's a lot of young guys who could play for a bigger role, and you're also playing for a bowl game, right? So both teams are desperate. Both teams have a lot to show. But like I said, I think Colorado wins this one. You're at home. Arizona struggles on the road. I think Caden Salter, if he gets a start, or if they go to Ryan Staub, I don't know if we see Juju Lewis until next week in order to preserve his red shirt. I think whoever's at quarterback for Colorado just knows, like, hey, get the ball in the hands of our playmakers. Like, I think if you're Pat Shurmur, you're probably thinking the same thing, like, hey, maybe make an adjustment or two so that way our quarterback's not getting blitzed to death. But I'm not scared of this Arizona team, and I don't think Colorado should be either. Now, we're going to see how much fight Colorado has left in them, how much belief they have left in them. But when Ray Lewis comes to town and is telling you, like, hey, you guys can be good. You have all the You have all the right coaches. You have all the talent. It's just a matter of coming together. I think that should light a fire under the you-know-what. And if it doesn't, then, I mean, we have a lot of other problems to discuss for this Colorado team. So comment below who you think will win this game. We got one person over here who thinks Arizona wins 34-17. I don't think it's going to be that bad of a. I don't think it's going to be that lopsided for either team. I think it's going to be fairly close. But I we'll see if anyone else has a score prediction. I think it's a closer game. I think Colorado wins. Noah Fafita is good, but again, on the road, Arizona struggles. Can Noah Fafita will this team to victory? Can Colorado bounce back? Can Colorado try new things to sort of, at this point, like, what do you have to lose in the sense of, like, you're not contending for the Big 12 title? Like, obviously the bowl game is still in reach, but get a little creative, get a little risky, like try some trick plays, try some guys out at certain positions, right? Try out the true freshman at whatever. Like Colorado, I mean, this is your time. Do something different. Otherwise, you're sort of your season, you're lost for the season, and you still have 3-4 more games. Like, you don't want to be in that position. So let me know what you guys think. I'll be going live after the game as I do every week. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow if you haven't already. And I will see you guys after the game as hopefully the Colorado Buffaloes come out with a dub.